Nomsa Clara Mnde. I'm the founder of Hope Spring Eternal Introduction Agency and the founder of Ngosi Talk Shows. So today I have three guests, not guests. I've got three Ngosi Talk Shows speakers and team members. So over to you, Dr. Bigot. Please introduce yourself to our audience.
Thank you very much, Nomsa. Let me ask you, have you ever had a setback in your life? For our audience, have you ever had a setback in your life? In whether it is a project you're working on or something else is. And if you do, would you love to be able to easily and quickly turn your setback into triumph? I'm Dr. Birgit Tan. I'm a certified grief recovery specialist, life success coach, and global speaker and best-selling author with a background in veterinarian oncology. And I have successfully built two multi-million-dollar businesses, each in less than 2 years, in under 2 years. And all this despite limitation, opposition, and grief. So today, professionals and companies hires me to move beyond grief because most people are stuck in setback or crisis or loss and not able to move forward. And my specialty is to show you how to do that, how to turn your setback into triumph quickly, easily, and with fun as well. So if you'd like to learn how to do that, keep listening to us today for the hour. And if you'd love to have more support, feel welcome to simply reach out to me through this venue or through my Facebook, Birgit Tan, or directly on my website. Thank you.
Thank you for the intro, Bigot, and Nomsa as well. Whoever you may be, wherever you may be in this world, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And going from setbacks to triumphs, another thing is how people feel stuck in a hamster wheel. How it always senses to feel like grinding, constantly running with no sense of direction, with a lack of fulfillment and belonging. The question arising of what is life and what does it mean? Some call it raison d'être, others ikigai, some call it purpose or purposes. To put it into perspective, an average 91% of the total population live their life, no questions asked. They don't question their existence, they don't question growth, they live with what has been given to them. So if you feel that you are one of those people and you still feel lost, you feel like you don't know where to go, what to do next in your life, the feeling that embodies you and envelops you is a sense of no purpose or no sense of purpose. My name is Kamal Amer. I am a certified NLP trainer, master practitioner, hypnotherapist, and a life purpose specialist. With a combination of ancient Egyptian methodology, wisdom, and neurolinguistic programming, I help you create a foundation to a life of harmony, balance, and purpose. Thank you. You are muted, Nomsa, like you always do. She learns.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kamal. So our topic today is how to turn setbacks into triumphs easily, quickly, and very, very quickly. So setbacks could be maybe delay, like maybe let's say you're driving, you want to pass by and get yourself some coffee or hot chocolate before you get to work, and you could be stuck in traffic. It could be business, things don't go your way, or it could be marriage that was meant to go your way and doesn't go your way. It could be anything simple or small. It doesn't have to be a major. So it could be something that, we all have expectations in life. And when those expectations are not met, So it could be a setback. So I'm going to hand over to Dr. Bigot because you chose this topic. If you could please explain to our audience and also the audience that are watching, please, if you have anything, just type, ask any questions, or if you have your own opinion, just let's have fun and communicate. Over to you, Dr. Bigot, please.
Thank you so much, Numsa, and and welcome to the show for everyone listening to this. Yeah, first of all, let me ask you: do you ever have a challenge in your life? And being human, if you are growing, then very possibly you have some challenge in your life. If you say, well, my life is so perfect and smooth, I never have challenge and have not for a good long while, then perhaps I invite you to challenge yourself to grow and have more challenge. And as we grow, sometimes we do something and we endeavor to accomplish something in life, and you might encounter a setback, something that you plan to do and it doesn't work out the way you would love to be. And so, what are some of the things that you could do to change that it's easily into triumph? And the first thing to me is to actually, and I find this work very well, is actually to just acknowledge your feelings. Nowadays, in the personal development era, there are so many people say, "Oh, it's okay, you got a setback, you got to be brave, you got to be strong, you got to keep pushing," and all these things. And yes, those are all wonderful, and you do want to keep going. And at the same time, if you do not acknowledge your feeling, if you say, "Okay, I got to be strong. I'm feeling this way, but I got to be strong, and I got to be brave and keep pushing and all these things." Guess what happened? Then you're constricting your feelings, right? Whatever the feelings, the anguish, the anxiety, the sadness, and what have you, then you're constricting them. And guess what happened when you're constricting one part of your life? It constrict and restrict your energy in general. And now you have challenge. What you want is a more expansive energy and more creativity. But now you're constricting it in one way by constricting your feelings, and that is not going to be allowing you, because now your thinking and is actually being clouded with the feeling that you're trying to stuff away. And so we don't want to do that. And not to mention, when you try to stuff away feelings, and feelings are not right or wrong, by the way. Feelings are just feelings, and unless it's not right or wrong unless you allow people opinion on you make it right or wrong. And so when that which then but when you try to stuff away feeling, they morph into something else. Have you ever heard the people say, "Oh, I'm so stressed out, I'm starting to have migraine. I was having this and that, I start to have back pain." And they just simply morph into something else instead of. And if you acknowledge your feeling to start with when you have a setback, and that's the first step, you say, "Okay, this is happening, I don't like this, I'm anxious," and then and so forth, without letting yourself being drowned by it. Then you open a path, you open a door to say, "This is what happening. I'm opening it and I'm facing it. I'm looking at it face to face. And what's next?" What about you, Kamal? What's your first step when you have a setback?
See, I will have to disagree with you on a certain perspective that actually setbacks exist. To me, there are no setbacks in life, because everything that we go through is there for us to learn. It's there for us to understand something. It's there to create a different perspective. So whether you call it setback, the others call it hiccups, issues, stumbling stones, I call them learning opportunities. So that's what I'm going to disagree upon. Apart from that, the rest, I do agree with you. When we have these feelings of loss, of being stuck, not knowing what to do, all of these feelings and emotions, or the feelings, they have to be felt and they have to be expressed emotionally. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I mean, a simple example, you go to work and you have a setback with your boss, you have an argument, you consider it a setback that you're not going to move forward. You're absolutely allowed to get angry and annoyed and frustrated and cry and upset and all of the feelings that you have inside of you. So on that perspective, I am totally with you. Now, when it comes to setbacks or hiccups, if you will, why I say they're not there is because, like I said, every opportunity that we have in our life, whether we like it or don't like it, whether we agree with it or disagree with it, it's still a learning opportunity. And if we consider having that learning perspective, ideology, or mindset, I'm not saying nothing will bother you, but I can assure you that everything that happens to you will be analyzed from a different view, from a different perspective, where you can see things happening in front of you. You might have some certain feelings towards it. You would be able to dissociate yourself from these feelings in order to analyze it and process it in a way that can benefit you. That also is with regard to emotional mastery. So I believe the setbacks or hiccups that we are talking about, they're very much related to the emotional mastery that we have about life, the idea that we think how life is, whether it's good or bad, whether it's useful or not, whether we feel like the victim in this world. Oh, why is this always happening to me? You see that question of why is this happening to me? You're victimizing yourself. You're saying there is a setback instead of what is this trying to teach me? How can I learn with that? Now you have shifted a perspective. It hasn't become a setback. It has become a learning opportunity. And I don't remember actually who said that. If you don't learn, you don't grow. I can't remember. Somebody said that. I'm usually good with the quotes. But so that's my point. If you don't learn from every opportunity that you get in your life, why are you here? Why do you think you will even grow from understanding it better? You might after 2, 3, 4 years, but why not grow right now and take the opportunity? So I think that's my perspective on this. That's my opinion as well. I'm sure Nomsa has an opinion. She always does.
Oh, yes. I actually agree with Dr. Bigot that basically you have to acknowledge your setbacks. You have to acknowledge your feelings. And because in order for you to understand that you're going through setbacks, because we are human beings, we have to, at this moment, we are not talking about people, we are not talking to people who are into coaching. We are talking about the audience who needs to understand the basics. So basically, in order for somebody who is not into personal development, for them to understand what is going on with their feelings, what is going on in their lives, to actually analyze, Kamal, like what you were saying, and master their emotion, they need to understand that they need to acknowledge what is going on. They need to actually open the door, like Dr. Bickett was saying, and face what is happening in their lives. Because if I'm going, like right now, it is the pandemic. There are so many setbacks when it comes to business. Things are not going well how we planned. But instead of me actually basically, I need to face the situation as it is and open the door of opportunities. If I open the door and say, "Okay, you problem, I can see you," and find a plan, create a plan on how am I going to move forward, and how am I be able to control my emotions and say, I can see you. Like right now, I have a laptop. My laptop does not want to work. The camera works fine. It refused to work. I'm working on my mobile phone. So that would have been a setback if I didn't have my mobile phone. The laptop would not have let me get on live. So that is because my expectations is I'm just gonna go on live and everything is gonna go according to plan. But sometimes things don't go according to plan. So that's when we have to open the door, and then we have to use our beliefs. Like for myself, is God who carries me. When things, He always carries me. Even when things don't go my way, I just sit back and say, okay, this is the situation and this is how it is. And I'll talk to myself, self-talk. I'm like,
I
God, is this
I
your way or somebody else's way? So in that way, I'm able to move forward because I'm aware, like Dr. Bigere said, I'm opening the door of me saying I'm aware, my feelings, and then entering, creating that plan of moving forward.
I love that. Yeah, it is very interesting because that what you said, Kamal, is actually the next step. Well, like Numsa says, we're talking to people who are when it depend on the audience, but this is for general audience. So most people are trapped. First of all, most people, many people, in my experience, don't even know the difference between their feelings and their thinking, right? And many times you think you are feeling something while you're actually thinking something. So you want to notice your actual feelings, sadness, anger, and so forth. And then once you notice that and you acknowledge that and you allow that, then we move to our thinking. And the thinking is when you say, okay, you said, I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm discouraged, I'm depressed, I'm scared. I had this event. On my Facebook, I've been sharing these similar lessons. I have this event, and everything seems to be going the opposite direction. And it's like, okay, there's a part of me that want to be, because I'm well trained in this. I said there is a part of me that feel anxious. There's a part of me that feel discouraged, but we acknowledge that, and then we move to the next part where we notice our thinking and we choose what we want to think. Are we going to think this is a setback or this is a lesson? I actually think that, for me, and you might choose to do this too, that instead of a setback, this is an opportunity. Let's make this something. The Chinese character, the Mandarin character for crisis is actually danger, whatever you perceive of danger. And the second part of that character with a Mandarin character is opportunity. So yes, there is a danger to whatever the outcome you want to have, and it might just be an opportunity to make it even better. And that's when you go to the thinking. When once you notice, like you said, Numsa, once you notice your feeling and you kind of say, okay, face it face to face. Now you go to the thinking and say, okay, this is going on. What can I do differently? And it's there. Then the next step is to adapt. How could I adapt to this? How could I adjust to this? How could I change my initial plan to this? What can I learn from this? And can I see this as an opportunity and make it even better? Would be, to me, is the next step, is when you are using your thinking, like you said, Kamal, and says, okay, this is really not a setback. Napoleon Hill says, in every adversity, there is a seed of greater good. So what seed can I find in here to create an even greater good?
It's interesting that you say it that way, because I mean, everyone has an opinion on how things. I really love the model of that's called the CTFAR model. So circumstances create thoughts, thoughts create feelings, feelings create actions. These actions usually are the emotions, and these actions create a result. And that once that result is done, you have the time to go back to the new thought. And this is the process that I use whether it's coaching or how to analyze things. Now, and in your perspective, it's you are absolutely talking about the same thing. It's just formulated differently, where people can think later on, but they have these feelings and these emotions that they process. And that beginning part of the circumstance, the thought and the feeling and the action, they're all just scrunched up together and they don't know what to do with it. And so I agree with you in a sense that the thoughts are not processed properly. Now, when we're talking about, when I think setbacks, right, we all have a different definition, I guess. When I think of setbacks, I think of maybe somebody driving a car fast and then suddenly there's a speed bump, right? And what are you going to do with the speed bump? You're going to slow down. Now, in life, we have these setbacks. We have these speed bumps, I'd rather say, where you have to make these decisions of, am I going to continue on the same path that I'm on? Am I going to continue on at the same speed? Or am I going to calm down, take a breath, and take it easy, take that bump a little bit slower until I can see what's going to happen? So, this is what I love about NLP and communication, right? Is that the three of us have very different and distinct perceptions and definitions of a simple word like setback. So yeah, so I think it's nice to see to hear these different opinions, so that the viewers, whether they are in self-development or not, they can have at least now 3 views of the world and of the word setback. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Kamal. Basically, we have to actually we speak the same language, but we identify things in different ways. And for me, basically, I know sometimes there's times where I have my plan, I create my plan, and then life comes and knocks me down. I have to be real. And when life knocks me down, basically I have to look at it as, am I going to stay down or am I going to get up? So the question is, where am I going? I have to hold on to where I need to go. And if I know where I need to go and the results that I need to achieve there, I have to create a plan, and I have to actually, basically, I have to tell myself that I don't have control over life. I don't know anything what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen the day after tomorrow, but all I have to be aware is where does Nomsa needs to go, and keep creating that plan. And sometimes you can want to make a phone call and the phone call doesn't go your way how you expect it to go. Somebody behaves in a different way, but it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. You just have to say, how can I do things differently? Or that person doesn't agree with what you are asking or what you want or where you need to go. So you just have to create a plan and just keep going. So I've been in that situation where everything basically, like the day basically seems like what Dr. Bigger was saying, things seem to be going wrong. And for me, I have to make sure I don't drink tea or coffee. I have to make sure I have my bottle of my water. And if things don't go my way, instead of whining and complaining and stressing myself, I just have to say, you know what? God carried me. He has carried me I'm 43 years old now, for 43 years old, 43 years. So this is not going to knock me down. I have to look at where I've been and the mountains that I had to climb and to be where I am today. And so basically, I have to use that strength and courage basically to go on and hold on to my beliefs, which is God.
You know, I like that. You just reminded me. I'm sorry, Bigot. I'm just going to jump in quickly before you say something. What you reminded me of is a few days ago, there was the Taekwondo championship in the Olympics, right? And the Egyptian player he was doing his match. And one of the greatest cheering words and sentences that I heard was what the trainer told his the guy, the fighter. He told him 50 seconds and you become an Olympic champion. The idea behind this sentence was not just to tell him you've got 50 seconds and you'll be an Olympic champion. What's behind it is even stronger. It's the amount of hours that he put in training. And we're talking Egypt, where this specific fighter, he spent time traveling through public transport, going to the training, getting his butt kicked, coming back with public transport, getting injuries, getting tired, getting people fighting him, saying, nah, you're not going to make it, or you're going to make it in Egypt, maybe not here, maybe not there. And all of these years of training and setbacks and fighting and all of that have amounted to that moment in the Olympic game. His trainer telling him 50 seconds and you become an Olympic champion. 50 seconds, hold on to those 50 seconds. This is, you were talking about you fall down so that you can get up again. In Batman, it's the same idea, right? Why do we fall? So that we can learn to pick ourselves up again. And here, that was a sentence that clicked with me now when you were saying what you were talking about. 50 seconds and you become an Olympic champion. And we can be Olympic champions in our own life if we take the time to consider the amount of pressure, struggle, life experience that we've had into where we want to go. I'll send it back to you, Bigger, because I know you were going to say something. This just came into my mind and I thought I'd share it.
There you go. Now I remember to unmute myself again. How about that? Just miniature setback. So I love what both of you said. The Numsa, when you said to choose on what you want, it did remind me to Napoleon Hill's quote. Somehow we changed the role today, Kamal. I'm the one that with all the quotes. Usually Kamal has a lot of quotes, but Napoleon Hill says the one and only thing over which you have complete control over is your mind, on how you're going to focus your mind. And so, as you said, Numsa, when something happens, many people first they don't even know what they're feeling and get drowned by that. And I want to make sure also to clarify that noticing your feeling does not mean trying to analyze it, and it does not mean trying to dwell with it. It's notice it so you can release it. Not, okay, I'm feeling this way. Why am I wonder why I'm feeling this way because you're feeling that way. Notice it, release it, and then choose where you want to keep mind. At the end of the day, like Numsa say, you cannot control circumstance. Life is life. The word do whatever the word to do, but you definitely have the option to choose and control your mind. I have this lesson so beautifully from my yoga nidra teacher back in the day. This is almost 10 years ago, the beginning of my journey in this part. And we were talking about control, and I said, well, the thing is, this is back then. I'm a recovering control freak. I used to be such a control freak. And she looked at me kindly and she said, so did I. But I think you've done a little study in this. You and I know that the only thing that one can control is your mind. And if you said you are a control freak, the first place that you want to learn to control then is your mind. A true control freak, she said, if you want to label yourself like that, you control your mind beyond anything else. And where you want to control your mind? Well, what the result that you want. That saying, instead of, oh my God, this is, what have you, it's only 50 seconds more to go. Focus on this. 50 seconds will fly like that before you know it. And to me, be grateful of what it is that you could still be grateful. It is, oh my goodness, thank goodness I only have 50 seconds to go instead of 2 hours going through this. And thank goodness, yes, it is a setback right now, a challenge, but what is it that you could possibly be finding something to be grateful in that circumstance? And perhaps you said, okay, well, I want to go to work and there is traffic right now, and it's, if you live in Los Angeles nearby where I live, sometimes it's traffic you absolutely cannot change. You got stuck on the 405, and I mean, you got stuck there. You can't even get to the next exit for the next 20 minutes. Well, maybe it's just a little time for you to practice your meditations on don't close your eyes, but to practice your deep breathing in the car or something like that, right? It is how you want to see it, and then what gratitude. Dr. Deepak Chopra shares this very well, and there are actually many studies shows that the gratitudes will expand your energy. It's actually so much so that it even change your physical, in your frontal cortex, your chemical in your body and everything. And so not only you can choose what to think, you could also choose to be grateful. If you choose to do that by choosing to control your mind and know that everything that has been happening in your life has led you to this time and opportunity to keep growing and grow even more, like that Olympic champions that you share, Kamal.
Nah, it's beautiful how you express this. I mean, thinking about the control freak. Okay, control your mind, control your emotions, control your feelings, and it's not something very easy, right? And the funny part is that when people, or like when speakers or coaches talk about emotional mastery, the majority of normal people or people that don't know self-development or aren't coaching, they think that emotional mastery means not getting angry, not getting frustrated, not getting upset, not getting sad. It's absolutely not that. It's actually the complete opposite. It means getting upset, but understanding and knowing why you got upset. It's getting angry and be able to reflect on your anger and see if that behavior will result in something resourceful or unresourceful. Being able to feel these emotions fully and completely, but knowing why you are feeling them and how it's going to affect the outcome that you're looking for. So, and that's what emotional mastery means, right? Coming back to exactly what you're saying, right? You want to be a control freak? Okay, control your mind. You can't do that. Your mind just goes here and there every second thinking about something. You can have more structure in thinking it, taking care of your thoughts, adjusting to them. Exactly like you're saying. You have a meeting, you left early, you're stuck in traffic. There's nothing to do. There's absolutely nothing. It's out of your hands. The only thing that you can do, send a message, say, I'm stuck in traffic. And now we've got video calls that can go through the phone. We like all of that. Think about it, like, what was it, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, we didn't have these video cams, and it cost like a fortune to do actually a video conversation on the phone. But it's like, now it's just easy, right? You just pick up the phone, you say, hey, I'm having the meeting on the phone, I'm stuck in traffic. Or you can allow yourself, like Beckett was saying, allow yourself that reflection time. Breathe in and out. So many breathing techniques, the square technique, the breathing from your stomach instead of your breathing from your diaphragm instead of your chest. Lots of breathing techniques that you can just partake in and enjoy. Listen to meditation while you are waiting in traffic. Put some nice music on, music that you haven't heard in forever, right? And this is just a setback in traffic. Now imagine if you had the capability of doing that throughout your life. How different life can be. Just knowing that, something is happening here. I have choices in life. You always have choices, right? Like we've said it so many times, even when you don't make a choice, that is already, even if you don't choose, that is already a choice. That is already making a decision and a choice for yourself. What was it? No choice is a choice, or is a decision, something like that. And yeah, you're serious. I'm seriously off today with my quotes. It's like something is wrong with my wiring. But you see, now I'm saying something is wrong with my wiring. You know what? Maybe I don't have it in me today to just say the quotes that I remember. And it's okay. But that's fun, because now I'm taking it as a fun perspective of life. Now, Bigot can take over and say all the quotes that she knows, and I can hide in the background. But it's not a setback. It's something, I'm human. We're all human. We're allowed to make mistakes. We're allowed to feel bad, sorry, and not well about what we're doing. The idea is to get up and learn from that. The idea is to be able to understand that you are going through something that everybody is going through in their own experience. And you can either be the victim of your life, or you can be the hero of your life. And it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, it's your choice. Because everybody will either choose to be a hero or a victim in life. The choice is still yours, I think. It's not, I think, I know that. So, I don't know, this was a little bit extra to what Bigot was saying. It's still on the same pattern. Yeah.
I like it when Kamal says, I have a Napoleon Hill's quote as well. He says, a leader is a dealer in hope. So I came across with it when I was actually setting up the topic, and I think it is a good quote, because if you are a leader and you find yourself in your darkest moment, you still have to have faith, you still have to have hope. And like Kamal, you made an example with the Olympic guy. Did he win, by the way?
Yeah, he won a bronze medal.
Okay, awesome. Yes, that was a good coach saying to basically, before letting this person know that for all this time you've been preparing for this, so you have 20 seconds or how many seconds to actually win whatever you've been preparing for it. If he won the bronze, that means his work has been paid off, which is amazing. So basically, and also is very, very important, like what Dr. Bigot was saying, that being a control freak is, I know with the NLP is something that you guys focus on, like to basically untangle everything. Like if you are a person who likes to control everything, you'd teach your mind to basically undo everything so that you let people into your life to help you, which is very, very important. Because if you are a control freak, my ex was a control freak. He just wanted to control everything. And I find myself, I was becoming that as well. He was a control freak, and everything had to be perfect. When you hoover the carpet, it has to be hoovered in these ways, in a certain way. If he comes home and the hoover is not gonna mourn, he's just gonna go and take it again and do it all over again. So, which is, if you find yourself in those kind of moment, you have to make sure that your environment, you are prepared, you are surrounded by the right company, with the right people that are going to be on your side regardless of what. Because sometimes people are all about the results, but they don't acknowledge, like Dr. Bigot was saying, we have to embrace whatever we are doing in our lives. We have to embrace, whether it's setback, we have to embrace ourselves taking that action. So basically, make sure you are surrounded by the right people that are going to celebrate you regardless of what. Because life is all about acknowledging what you are doing, acknowledging the situation, and being grateful, and surround yourself with people that are going to believe in you. I think that is very, very important. Believe in you and support you. And you have to, like for myself, like I look at life as when Jesus handpicked his disciples, and he handpicked the people around him. He put principles in his kingdom that if you want to follow me, you have to follow. You have to follow these principles. So it's the same like us human being. We have to have a principle so that whenever we have setbacks in our lives, we are surrounded with a good environment. We have people that are gonna. Basically, we have that one person that you can dial the phone and say, listen, this is what I'm going through. I know Kamal was saying there is no such thing as a setbacks. For me, I can understand his language because I speak his language. I don't know what language is it, personal development and motivation and faith and hope. So I speak those language, courage and strength. So I can understand his language. So you need people like that who can speak the language that you speak. So uh, even if you have your own family, so you have to understand that your family, sometimes the strength that you are looking for, they're not going to give you, but you have to have the love for your family and handpick the people that you believe that are going to be there when you need them the most. Over to you, Dr. Bigot.
Yeah, I love that because that is actually a very important part of being able to change anything that you perceive now that we've been talking about this, that anything that you perceive or can be perceived as a setback, to change it into triumph, and doing that easily and quickly and with fun is actually to allow support. Things happen for the first time for whatever reason, and like as Kamal says, it's usually a learning opportunity. It's a learning. It's something in there that has for learning. I'm not picking on Numsa here, but for instance, if you say it's, well, whatever happened, the camera is not working and this and that, then one could say, oh my god, why isn't the camera, all this thing, or you can say, that's really strange. Well, let me use this as a learning experience, and then let's make sure such that this doesn't happen again in the next time tomorrow. What in there that I could ascertain that this does not happen. And so now that we know that it is up to you whether you want to see it as a setback or as a learning experience and an opportunity actually to do something even better, then if it's something that is brand new to you, something typically that you are yet to know how to get out of it nice and quickly, and you haven't been trained in personal development for some 15 years, the way many of us does, then allow support. Allow support. That's if you ever try to lift up a heavy table, there you would notice that even if you strong enough to drag the table and grab it and push it up on your shoulder and all this thing, if you have support, you will a lot more. Typically, it will be a whole lot of easier for you to do that, and you will be. If it is a physical thing, you're less likely to get injured. And so, whatever it is that you might perceive as a setback initially, when you allow support, and that's when you want to receive the appropriate support, because as Numsa say, sometimes you might be your family might not be the one that your blood family, when we say family, and it might not necessarily be the one that would be the best support at the end of the day, if you think about it. And sometimes people say, oh yeah, but I feel bad, this is my family. If you think about it, where do you think you get to where you are with what you're thinking? A lot of time we adopt our thinking when we're growing up. And who you grow up with? Your family. And so if you are the way you're thinking and the way you're seeing things now and perceiving things now is not where you would love to be in your evolution, in your growth, we're not saying dump your family. We're not saying neglect your family. but perhaps allow a new support and allow a new group of friends to allow you to be able to such that, hey, you know what, you still love your family, but knowing that they might have been contributing to your thinking up until now, perhaps it's just time to allow an extra group of friends, a coach or something that will help you keep growing and allowing you to easily and quickly. If you try to go to a new place and not using any map, then you typically get lost, and that's what coaches and experience friends in the directions that you want to go for, so that you don't get lost and spin around out there, and end up in the woods or something, and you actually will reach your destinations, your triumph, a lot faster and easier.
It's interesting that you're bringing up this part of the discussion to here, because by now the people listening or those that have followed, you have a few steps to go through life and how to understand those setbacks. But now comes the important part, is that accountability, is knowing who to have around you, who to have by your side to lead you into that, over that bump. Now, some people can do it on their own. Some people know how to get over these bumps on their own and they become stronger and all of that. But others do need help, guidance, right? And there's no shame in asking for that help or guidance, or just a hand to hold, or a shoulder, just stay there next to me while I move forward. This is the best thing that you can do for yourself. Now, of course, as coaches, as speakers, and motivational speakers, we recommend people to find those that they connect to, whether it's a mentor, a coach, a speaker, or even a family member or a friend, a different friend or a different family member that will support you, that will dream beside you and help you out of this dump. And the idea here is to actually pick and choose the right person for you, a person that you can trust, but a person that could also make you feel accountable for your actions, a person that will have experience, like Gigit was saying, but at the same time will give you the wisdom of the experience for you to, again, choose where to go, right? Because you have to go through that experience and that learning process on your own. Nobody can do it for you. They can guide you, they can take you to the front door of that experience, or maybe open the door for you. But that move from behind the door to that first step, that is all up to you. And that, for instance, I'll bring up my experience, right? That I had maybe, I think it was 3.5 years ago now, 3 years. Separated, lost contact every day with my kids that I used to put to bed, lost my job, or I didn't lose my job. It got taken away. I lost it because it was downsizing. And I felt like this was a setback. I didn't know what to do with my life. But I had the right guidance. I had the right person in my life. It was my dad, who told me that famous sentence that I've said so many times here on Corsi Talk Show. You have the gift of time. You see, so he opened the door for opportunities for me. But it was still up to me to decide whether I was going to use that experience, that guide, that door opening opportunity, or was I going to let it go and find something else? Thankfully, gratefully, I did take that first step. And in order for me to had it been, for instance, somebody else, perhaps I wouldn't have taken that step. Had it been one of my older friends, maybe it wouldn't have worked. But it had to be that specific person to guide me or to tell me the door is open. So if you have that person in your life, or people, keep them close and understand what they're telling you. There's always a message in what we say. There's always a door opening opportunity, right? And Again, this is the step in your life after you've learned how to process your feelings, your thoughts, your emotions, the setback that you're in, to know that it's a learning opportunity. You have to be accountable now for what you will do. And very few people are capable of being accountable for their actions on their own. So get an accountability buddy, whether it's a coach, a guide, a mentor, or a family member, or even a friend, but somebody that you can really trust and that will seriously, if I may say, kick your bum if you don't do the work. And I know, for instance, Nomsa has Bigot as her butt-kicking accountability partner. So have that person in your life. That's my recommendation. Yeah.
Actually agree with you, Kamal, and I actually agree with your dad. Basically, his words, because he showed you that in order for you to succeed, you're gonna have to basically, because when your relationship fell apart and the jobs, everything at that moment, there was a message for you. You wouldn't have become, if you stayed in that relationship, you would not have become what you are today. If that job stayed there, you got promoted, you would have been distracted and accepted the promotion, and you wouldn't have become who you are today. But today you have this amazing knowledge that you can teach your children, you can teach people. Basically, their lives are being changed by what you do. So which is really, really amazing. It shows that sometimes what we see as setbacks is not as setbacks. In order for you to succeed in life, you have to have a purpose. You have to have a passion for what you do. You have to have a plan. You have to be persistent with everything basically around you. So, which is why basically setbacks are there to teach us. Sometimes we become what we are because of people that cross path with us. They teach us a lesson. Sometimes they become horrible to us. Sometimes you can meet the horrible person and you are like, if you are somebody who basically cries, you'll be crying instead of learning that from that person, that this behavior as a business person, this behavior will not gonna take me to where I need to go if I behaved like this person. Or sometimes life is there to teach us the things, part of us that needs to grow. So I basically agree with your dad, because there are some things that I have learned in life. For me, every setbacks that I have experienced in life, it has taught me to grow. It has taught me to actually to learn that in my life, no one can fight for me. I am the only person that can fight my battles. I am the only person that can break those chains that I will be facing that moment. I am the only person that can say no to setbacks and yes to moving forward. So that's how I see life. Over to you, Dr. Bigot.
Yeah, I love what you say. Jim Rohn says, reflecting what Kamal says, Jim Rohn says that you are the average of the 5 people you spend your most time with. And so every time you face something in your life, you want to say, okay, am I at the result? Let's say you continue to have setbacks. Sometimes for some of us, we seems like this happened and that happened, and it's like one after another. Then okay, if it's happening in your life, then perhaps you said, okay, if I don't want all these things, knowing that I am the 5 people I spend the most time with, look around and see who you spend your time with, and then take the accountability, as Numsa and Kamal says, with grief recovery. And I'm a certified grief recovery coach. You would think that, okay, when someone is grieving, you want to support them as much and be as gentle with them. With the grief recovery, we actually teach each and every one of our client the very first time you walk in the door that you have to at least take the 1% responsibility. What's the 1% responsibility? That you choose that you are going to get better and take the actions to get better, to feel better, to resolve your grief. Nobody, there's a saying, we can take a horse to the water, but we can make the horse drink the water. Now, my background is in veterinarian oncologist. Now, there are times when you're like, okay, the horse don't want to drink the water, we kind of like pump it in the mouth, right? It is the most horrendous things trying to do. And even when you do that, at some point, that horse is going to stop swallowing, or it spit it back up, or actually do something else. And so you are responsible. You are absolutely responsible. Just like with this show here, if you are facing a setback, you could listen to this and said, oh yeah, great idea. And it has been a wonderful entertainment for you the last 55, 56 minutes, isn't it? And if you don't do anything else out of this is an entertainment. And if that's all what you want an entertainment, perhaps on your commute, that's perfectly fine. We're happy to entertain you. But if you truly want to change your life, if you truly want to say, from now on, I'm going to learn the tool and skills, the lifelong tools and skills, such that whatever that I might perceive as a setback, I will turn it like that to make it even better. Something happened with my speaking event actually this past weekend. It seems like one after another setback, including the plane late and on and on and on and on. And you're like, I'm going to learn such that on the spot, in 20 minutes, in 2 hours, not next month, I will be able to turn it like that. Then it's up to you. Are you going to take that responsibility to take the next step, which is, okay, who am I surrounding myself with? What kind of support do you allow in your life, so you too will be able to transform any perceived setback to something that is so much better, so much easier and faster as well. And so that would be my invitations for everyone watching this, to really just look in yourself. Where are you going? What do you really want for your life? Entertainment? We're happy to entertain. We're here every day, 5 days a week, actually 6 days a week. And if you would love the growth, well, you got to take the next step. It's your responsibility.
I like that. I like that you're ending it with that. I'll end it with something very similar. I finally remembered the quote that I wanted to say for today, and it's funny because it came right now at this moment. And it's not funny. It's just the way it is, right? We remember things when it's supposed to be remembered. For today, I want people to realize that when change happens in your way, setbacks, hiccups, stumbling blocks, whatever they may be, you can choose what to do with that in your life. And I think it's a Mandarin. I know it's a Chinese proverb, but I don't know. It's a Chinese proverb, and the proverb goes, "When the winds of change blow, some people build walls, and others build windmills. Which person do you want to be in this world once a setback happens to you? The choice is yours." Thank you for me for today.
Thank you so much, Kamal and Dr. Bigger. For me, I'll leave you with this. Basically, never allow setbacks make you forget why you do what you do, and stay true to yourself, to what you say to yourself, and to where you're going. And basically, we are here Monday to Friday at Ngozi Talk Shows. And if you want to get in touch with our coaches, please get in touch. We are here at 1 p.m. And if you're watching this later, maybe a year later, please share some love with your audience and your families. And God bless you, and live with grace, everyone.